Hi, welcome to the Shelly Studio. Today I'm playing with a little mixed media. I have this painting I did. It's a paint pouring with way too much silicone. But it's been sitting on here and, I like things with like a focal point or something, and that just didn't do it for me. So I wanted to do something with it, and since I had these pieces of collage media I had created experimenting, I figured I would use them on this board. It's actually a canvas board. It's actually a clearance print from Hobby Lobby. I think I paid $2 for it. I peeled the paper print off of it and gessoed it and poured over it, and now I'm adding collage. So if you haven't seen my other video where I create these collage items, if you're interested, they were done with gloss gel medium and rice paper, I believe. And I'll put a link down below so you can go watch that, how I created those pieces if you're interested in that. And this is just a bunch of layers of collage, and I love how it turns out. All my favorite colors, blue, blue, and more blue. Oh, and a little bit of gold for some fun. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, and I think there might be a little brown in there too. I have a few varieties of color. So yeah, not a lot to say. Like I said, it's a bunch of layers. I use a ton of gloss gel medium. I didn't have any just gloss medium, so I'm using the heavier gel that I've had sitting around here for quite a while, because I usually use matte medium. But I'm kind of liking the shininess of this. Kind of. And of course, no real object in mind, just playing around. And that's how it's fun, right? Oh, here's the brown. See, I had brown. Gotta have some other color in here, or the blue becomes too much, right? And I love how, I think that one was tissue paper, and I love how the tissue paper just dissolves into the background. It's one of my favorite things. And these gold circles I did on my jelly plate, they are also done on tissue. So I painted a gold circle and then printed it onto the tissue. And I know it looks white now, but it does disappear. You'll see when it dries. See? It's gone. You can't even see. Alright, so just digging through stuff, I figured I needed a little bit of black accent for my piece, so I found these that I'd had lying around. More jelly prints, or they were from tissue paper when I was doing a jelly print session, I guess. Had them for quite a while. I'm just kind of fraying the edges. That helps it to disappear more, I think. Better than the hard line. If you have the hard line, it's a little bit more noticeable. So I try to feather that with a little bit of water and my fingernail. Alright, so now I've got to figure out where I'm going to put them. Does it work if you add a little bit of water to gel medium to make it thinner? Because that's what I did. And this piece, I did it in the span of like at least a week. I would do a layer and let it sit there and dry and enjoy it for a while. And then I'd come back and do another layer. And then I decided to do this. This is string gel that I have, and I thought I would make a thin, make a coating over the top of this of string gel. Just to protect everything. At this point I was like, ooh, I could have like visual depth if I did a layer of string gel and then I did stuff over the top of that and then do another layer of string gel. You could see the dimensions kind of like an encaustic. And I do layers and stuff, but you can't really tell. Like you don't see like that. That it doesn't appear to be floating. At least in my opinion, it doesn't. Maybe if I did 2 coats and made it really thick. And I've got everything on there I want, I think, but I still want to do another layer, but I think I want to do some self-leveling gel because I've got a lot of bumps and that string gel does not level on its own. Don't let anybody tell you it does, because it does not. It's meant to be dimensional and hold its dimension, at least a little bit. So I have a couple of seed things. What are those from? Tree in the backyard. Can't think of what it is. I painted them gold a long time ago and thought this would be the perfect time to use them. And they're quite dimensional. Oh, another layer of brown. I decided this corner needed something, so I'm pulling out my homemade stencil and gonna do a little stenciling in brown. And it is going on onto that gloss surface, so I have to do a couple of coats to get it to stay. And then I don't know if I show it, but I do, once it's completely dry, I do give that a layer of the gloss gel medium over the top too to make sure it's incorporated. So I thought it'd be fun to put a word, and I was trying to paint it with my fingers with the gold, but it's obviously just, rubbing off. So then I take a paintbrush to it, and it just doesn't get it quite gold enough. So then I just rub that off, and I decide I will emboss. I have some gold. It's kind of chunky gold, but I would just emboss this with some chunky gold and hope it works. And I think it worked great. It's lumpy bumpy, but that's the kind of embossing powder it is. I do 2 layers. That was hot. But you can see it there. I do end up doing 2 layers. Make it extra thick, and the bumps are a little less noticeable that way. And I'm just gonna glue that on with some more of that gloss gel medium. I was looking at I guess that was a Hobby Lobby purchase on clearance. $2.24. I guess I can't feel too bad about using so much on this project if it's only that price, right? Plus, I've had it for at least a year. It needs to get used, right? That gloss medium. Alright, so that's on there. And I decided to try and rub a little bit more of the antique gold over the top of it. And then go around the edges with some Q-tips because it's not staying on the surface. I don't know that that made it any better. So the next thing I do is some of my collaging elements didn't go clear to the edge, so I'm using some gel crayons, and the other thing was a gelato, just to try and blend those into the edge so that they don't look like they're missing the edge. Does that make sense? So there's not that line right there. Sorry, that's kind of off screen. And I decide I would just turn that into, I don't know, to kind of make it look a little bit like a dragonfly. Now I'm taking a little bit of brown paint and doing the same thing with those brown half circles I've got on there so that it's not really working for me. There we go. Okay, so I have one last element that I thought I would put on here. This is a feather that I'd stenciled. Can't remember if it was stenciled or jelly printed. And my gel medium is way too thick. Just coating those gelatoed areas while I'm at it. Just trying to smooth that down. I just didn't feel like it was gonna disappear as well as everything else had, even though it's the same tissue paper. Alright, now the feather's dry. I'm going to do another line with my dimensional paint. I felt like I'd messed this one up a little bit, so I actually do wipe this off and try it a second time. Yeah. We'll give it a second attempt. Not any better, but we'll go with it. just kind of shading around the letters so that the word imagine stands out just a little bit more. Trying not to let it get too dark. I don't want it to be too obvious. I think this is definitely one of my favorite pieces of my creations. Haven't been doing anything to the side, so I thought I'd add a little brown around the edges. They have the paint from pouring, so they do have color around there. I'll show you a bunch of pictures at the end, give you some close-ups and maybe some angles so you can see what it looks like. I hope you liked that. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you'd like to see more from me, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.